Hello friend, this is Umesh and in today's topic we will discuss about some of the frequently asked questions in a SQL Server related interview. So basically it's not about the core SQL Server, it's about the data analytic role where you have to do research and where you have a considerable amount of understanding how SQL Server work. So this is not going to be a tutorial, but we essentially discuss those questions which have high tendency to be asked. So the first question, what is a convert function? So in a very layman language, a convert function helps changing the data type of one expression into another expression. So for example, this change convert int 9.54. So in this it has two arguments. So the first is asking in what data type is need to be converted. So it has given int, and what need to be converted, that is 9.54. So if we run this, if I run this over here, let's see what results. So 9.54 has been converted as 9. Similarly, this is a get date function. We know that get date function return the day and the timestamp. Get date, if I execute it, so it is the date and with a timestamp. And let's say if I need to convert in some other format, so I can use this SQL the convert function. First I have to describe the data type. So I'm describing it varchar, let's say 24, let's say 11, and this is the third argument. Run it. So see this date time has been changed to 03JUN17. So this has exactly, the data type has been converted into a character data type, and it has changed the format also. So you can research more on it. Don't you need to focus but very much, but you have to get a good understanding that how this convert function work. Now similarly there is one more function, that is a cast function. The cast function typically work in the same manner. The cast and convert, they go in parallel. You can use any of those. The cast function, this also change the data type from one expression to another expression. So these are two functions which are used in SQL Server for changing the data type on a runtime. It actually don't alter the data type, but it's change the data type on a runtime. Now the third question, this has a good tendency, good and in to be asked by the interviewer, and that is what is clustered index. So in a clustered index, you can say that it is a way of physically storing record or how data gets organized, like in a dictionary. So you have seen that in a dictionary, A comes first and all the letter associated with A, and then B, then C, then D. And two things important with that, that whenever you create a primary key, so by default a clustered index gets created, and there cannot be more than one cluster record in a table. So such type of question could be asked. They could put this such tricky questions. So what is a non-clustered index? Similarly, so as comparison to a clustered index, a non-clustered index, the physical and logical containment of record differs. This means that the records are assigned with a key value or a non-clustered key value, so they act as a pointer to a particular record, and this is the way how logically SQL Server understand that how the records are being organized there. And one thing need to be just noted, that there can be multiple non-clustered index in a table. Coming to question number 5. Question number 5 is asking that write a script about the test table to create a test table with a primary key constraint. So there are two things noticeable. First, we are writing or we are creating a table by a script. So there is a create table syntax we have used. Create table, name of the table, this test is the name of the table, and here I have assigned three variables or three field name. The first is employee ID, which is integer and which is not null. So this says this will the employee ID, which will have a data type integer, and it will not going to contain any null value. Then first, and then the first name is the data type is varchar 100, so it can contain 100 characters and it can contain a null value. Similarly with the last name. Now the important part of the question was to create a constraint called primary key. So primary key constraint, how can it be created? You need to write constraint, name of the constraint. I have given the name of the constraint as pk test, and then you have to write primary key clustered. Even though you don't write it, it will automatically understand. Even though if you skip this portion, it will automatically do what it has by default, but it is a good practice to write all this thing and to memorize it as hard. Now the moment you execute, a table will be created with a constraint called pk test on employee id. Coming on the sixth portion, it is asking about how can we retrieve information about columns of a table. So there are lot of situation where you need to understand that what type of tables. Such situation are created in a research type of environment where you have to research between multiple tables. You need to understand about the schematics, you need to understand about what is the data type, what is the column, how they are interacting with each other. So this command select star from information underscore schema dot columns, it will list down all the columns on all the tables, and depending upon your further requirement, you can put more where clause and something like that to extract your information. I will suggest to research more on this. This is a very handy function. And in a similar fashion, this question number 7 also, you have to improve retrieve information about a table. So this where we can use select star from information underscore schema dot tables. It returns 4 values: table catalog, table schema, table name, and table type. So this is how the listing is done by you in a SQL server using such syntaxes and such command. So I hope you like this video, and please don't forget to subscribe my channel. Thank you for visiting it.